Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, part of the key problems that we are contending with within the Nigerian space is that it takes very long for the international community to take a position on what is happening in Nigeria. And because of course we are looking to the international community to rescue the Nigerian person from the Nigerian state, be the state of course being an enemy of the people. So if we are looking, and by the way, we are looking to the international community for this rescue, not because we are lazy or we don't have ideas, but because of course we are confronted with existential threats. The example being Lekki Toll Gate, of course, we saw what happened there. So any attempts, of course, to effect change by the means available to the population, which is protestation and sort of like alarming. So if you alarm too much, then of course you are vested upon what we saw at Lekki Toll Gate. So because the potency is not there for the Nigerian citizenry to fight for their rights within the Nigerian space, what we then have is to make a lot of noise. The only tool available to us is to make a lot of noise to then invite that international attention to then put that pressure for the change that we need on the enemy of the Nigerian person, which is the Nigerian government. But it takes them very long, of course, to take a position on Nigeria because, of course, one is an African country and Africa is at the bottom of the interest of the world. Effectively, we have to say that. And Nigeria more so, a lot of people have just dismissed it and abandoned it as a basket case. So with that, guys, I bring you this. Financial Times knocks Buhari's government, says Nigeria close to becoming a failed state. So Nigeria close to becoming a failed state is what the Financial Times is saying. But then, of course, as I said, they are late to this understanding because Nigeria had already failed as a state as far back as 2015. So 5 years later, they are now coming into it for reasons that I've already elucidated. Again, the headline, Financial Times knocks Buhari's government, says Nigeria close to becoming a failed state. So now let's now see how the international community is now joining the party. The Financial Times of London has described Nigeria as a country going backwards economically and plagued with terrorism, illiteracy, poverty, banditry, and kidnapping, and risk becoming a failed state if things don't take a drastic turn. The UK-based newspaper said this in an editorial on Tuesday titled Nigeria Risk Becoming a Failed State. It said the abduction and subsequent rescue of over 300 schoolboys in Kankara, Katsina State revived memories of the 276 Chibok schoolgirls abducted in Borno State in 2014. According to the newspaper, whilst the government claimed that no ransom was paid to the abductors of the schoolboys remained doubtful, other acts of criminality could not be overlooked. The editorial reads in part, the government insists no ransom was paid. Skepticism is warranted. In a country going backwards economically, carjacking, kidnapping, and banditry are amongst Nigeria's rare growth industries. Just as the boys were going home, Nigerian pirates abducted 6 Ukrainian sailors off the coast. The definition of a failed state is one where the government is no longer in control. By this yardstick, Africa's most populous country is teetering on the brink. The newspaper also questioned the claim by President Muhammadu Buhari that Boko Haram had been technically defeated. It said, contrary to the government's claim, Boko Haram remained an ever-present threat. The Financial Times stated, President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 pronounced Boko Haram technically defeated. That has proved fanciful. Boko Haram has remained an ever-present threat. If the latest kidnapping turns out to be its work, it will mark the spread of the terrorist group from its northeastern base. Even if ordinary bandits carried out the mass abduction, as now seems possible, it underlines the fact of chronic criminality and violence. Deadly clashes between herders and settled farmers have spread to most parts of Nigeria. In the oil-rich but impoverished Delta region, extortion through the sabotage of pipelines is legendary. The newspaper said security is not the only area where the state is failing. The Financial Times added that Nigeria has more poor people than any other country, even as Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children on earth. The newspaper stated that as oil continues to lose its value, Nigeria's economy would worsen. The population, already above 200 million, is growing at a breakneck 3.2% a year. The economy has stalled since 2015 and real living standards are declining. This year, the economy will shrink by 4% after C19 dealt a further blow to oil prices. In any case, as the world turns greener, the elites scramble for oil revenue will become a game of diminishing return. The country desperately needs to put its finances, propped up by foreign borrowing, on a sounder footing, it said. The newspaper said Buhari, who has less than 3 years left in office, must use the remainder of his term to redouble efforts at improving security. It advised the government to restore trust in key institutions, amongst them the judiciary, the security services, and the Electoral Commission, which will preside over the 2023 elections. The Financial Times said the hashtag #EndSARS protest led by Nigerian youths signaled a glimmer of hope for Nigeria's teeming youth population. It added, the broad coalition that found political expression this year in the #EndSARS movement against police brutality provides a shred of optimism. At least Nigeria has a relatively stable democracy. Now Nigeria's youths, creative, entrepreneurial, and less tainted by the politics of extraction, should use that system to reset the country's narrative. The newspaper concluded by saying that it was time for Nigeria to restructure its political system and concentrate on security, health, education, power, and roads. At the present trajectory, the population will double to 400 million by 2050. If nothing is done, long before then, Nigeria will become a problem far too big for the world to ignore. It won't. So F9 parallel for Malam Buhari, of course, are by the Financial Times, from the Financial Times. But as I said, the international community are always late to the situation in Nigeria, almost late to the point where it is already too late for a turnaround or a turn back to take effect. So now it is agreed within the Nigerian space that the Buhari regime is a failed regime. I don't think there's any single Nigerian that is not of that thought, and it is now also agreed internationally that the Buhari regime is a failed regime. I don't think there's any governance of any real goodwill towards Nigeria that is not of that thought. So if Nigeria is a failed regime under Buhari in Nigeria, and it is a failed regime under Buhari internationally, what then continues to hold this guy in situation is the question. The answer, of course, are the people that he has surrounded himself with, and I continue to highlight this on this particular channel in almost every single video. The army chief is a Fulani northern man who owes his allegiance to one person and one person alone, Malam Buhari and his tribe. The Inspector General of Police is a Fulani man who owes the same allegiance as the army chief, the DSS the same, the Attorney General of the Federation, the Chief Justice of the Federation, Tanko Mohammed, he is the same. It's a satiated, Sharia law trained Fulani man who owes his allegiance to Malam Buhari and his tribe. The Minister of Justice, same again, satiated, steeped in the wool, marinated Fulani man who owes his allegiance to Malam Buhari and his tribe. So you can see in effect that what sustains this Buhari phenomenon that we're experiencing within the Nigerian space is effectively the perfect crime. So what he did very quickly when he got in 2015 was to gather all of the guns in Nigeria into his own hands and then point it in the direction of the south, because all of the guns in Nigeria, of course, is the army chief as I've described, the police chief as I've described, the legal structures of the country as I have described, and he also now controls the Senate with his yes man Lawan, Ahmed Lawan, as the president of the Senate. So with all that, that is the perfect crime committed against the Nigerian person, because there's no recourse to justice within the Nigerian space. There's no recourse against the Buhari structure. There's no person that you will go to within the Buhari structure, within the Nigerian structure, that will give you succor against the Buhari structure. And you cannot go to the police because we've already described who owns the police. They already have their allegiance towards a different direction from the Nigerian population, and you cannot even take to the streets in protestation because, of course, you have to recount the experience of the Lekki toll gate. So it's effectively fear is what Malam Buhari is effectively using to rule Nigeria, and it has been since 2015. Fear is the one token that he has always known, and it is the one thing that has always served him. So he has instilled fear in the hearts of Nigerians, and this really is the perfect crime that has been committed against the Nigerian person. Look at Showore. He said he was protesting for good governance in Nigeria. They've confined him to Abuja, and he spends now his days, and he will spend his days now up till 2023 driving from home to court and back again every single day. So he's going to spend it, at least he's not in jail now, because the international community has taken him out of jail and put him in an apartment in Abuja. But he's going to spend the remaining 3 years tenure of this Buhari phenomenon entity now that we're contending with. He's going to spend that remaining 3 years going back and forth from his apartment to the court and back again. So they shut him down, and the people now that now gathered en masse now to say enough is enough, they were completely machine gunned down in a Lekki toll gate. So the fear has been instilled in the heart of the Nigerian person, to the point that even when you want to criticize the government, even within the circles of your own family and friends, they'll say, no, don't say that in front of me, or be careful what you're saying, no, these people, oh. So they have instilled fear in the hearts of Nigerians as they continue to loot and run the country to the ground. Conversations in the comment section. The Financial Times has now arrived at the same bus stop as the rest of us to come to the realization that Nigeria is indeed a failed state. So failed state really is what we're discussing. What says you come share thoughts? But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it's on screen. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this now editorial that has been published by the London Financial Times. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.